So, hey, Carrie, how are you doing?
Hi, Nan. It's so great to see you.
Oh, you too. You too. Listen, I just wanted to ask you if you have had situations come up with your students in your class where fear has kept them stuck.
Oh my gosh, yes. I feel like it's such a common topic of discussion, especially in the first couple weeks of class.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I try to explain to them that it's normal to have fear and anxiety and doubt whenever anyone is trying something new or creating something new or embarking on a new path. and and that's just part of the process, and reframing it can be really helpful. But definitely, yeah, common fears, one of them that I hear all the time is that they're afraid that they're not going to have enough paying clients, or they're not going to be able to get paying clients. Do you hear
Yes,
that too?
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so funny because, you know, of course they're not ready to get paying clients in week one. I always ask people, do you drive? And they say yes. And I say, did you drive as well the first time you went out in a car as you drive now? Because once you get experience and learning, the fear tends to dissolve because you've practiced and you gain knowledge. And so the fear at the beginning is so natural. And it's something that I think we all experience with anything that we start new, anytime there's a change. That fear is our natural response to tell us, hey, maybe there's danger here, maybe you've got to check this out,
This is
right?
unknown territory that we're moving into.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I like that you said something about how the practice and the repetition, once they get into the practice and the repetition and they change their focus from the fear to maybe taking the action steps, practice coaching, for example, doing the assignments, taking those steps to build their business, all of a sudden that's what they're focusing on, and the fear kind of takes a back seat. I
Yeah.
found that to be true.
Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so that makes you afraid because you don't know yet. I always tell my students too that the road to success is not just a straight line, that there are going to be times when they're, feeling really great, really excited, really pumped. And then as that starts to disappear a little bit, then the hesitancy, the worry about, am I good enough? Am I doing the right thing? And they start to doubt themselves, and they lose confidence, and
Yeah.
they get to that point of frustration, and they're down low, and then something happens that starts to help them come up again. So they're going on a journey that's a series of ups and downs, fear and then confidence, and then fear and confidence again.
Yes. And I feel like every time you drop into fear, really on any new path, it's the drops get lower and lower. They're not as if you're thinking about that line,
Yeah,
the hills aren't as steep. It
not as
starts
deep.
to level out because you develop resilience. You get more accustomed to feeling uncomfortable and being out of your comfort zone. And
Yeah,
then within those dips, right, you develop some skills to be more resilient, to come out of that fear and into confidence, right?
yes.
I
Uh,
have an exercise that I usually do with my classes. I actually did it this last night with one of my classes. And of course, the fear that one of the students brought up was that they were afraid that they weren't going to ever get paying clients.
Mm. Mhm.
And it's about stating the fear, reframing the fear into an I will statement instead, and then asking yourself, what's one tiny, tiny little step that I can take over the next day or two to move towards that I will statement? So instead of I won't be able to get paying clients, I will get paying clients. I will have a successful coaching business. And then ask yourself, what is one thing I can do over the next 2 days to move towards that? And then all of a sudden, their focus is on the action and what they want to create versus all of the worries and anxieties of what could go wrong. Again, the fear kind of takes a back seat. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like a redirection of your focus over and over again. You can choose to focus on the fear and feed your fears, or you can choose to focus on what you want to create and moving forward and what you have control over, right?
Yeah, I love that. Well, and I tell my students too, the acronym for fear is false events appearing real. So if you're believing the fear, you're believing something that hasn't happened yet and something that really is a lie because it's false. And so, you know, rather than believe in the lie, focus on something that is the opposite of the lie, which is exactly what you said. Instead of saying, I can't get paying clients, say, I will get paying clients. So that's the truth. The opposite of the truth is, of the lie is the truth. So I love that
That's a
exercise.
that's
Yeah.
a great acronym too. I need to keep that in the forefront of my mind. And I think talking through all of this with our students and giving them these tools to work through their own fear, this is going to help them help their clients.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I use with my clients some of the same tools and discussions that I have with my students because it helps them. I think that inner resourcing comes out and they start to believe in themselves more. You mentioned earlier, you mentioned your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I have a real thing about stepping outside your comfort zone because to me, there's a visual there of you're standing on a ledge and you're peering into the dark unknown and you've got to step off into the abyss, with a leap of faith.
Mhm.
And to me, that's really scary.
Yep.
What I do is I take my comfort zone with me.
Mhm.
I kind of wrap myself up in my past successes, in my knowledge and expertise, my support system, all of my resources, everything that has helped me um, to be confident
Yeah.
and successful. And what I do is take one small step. And once I take that small step outside of that comfort zone, it's no longer unknown. I absorb the knowledge of that, of the understanding. So what I'm doing is expanding my comfort zone.
I love that.
So if you think of, leaving your comfort zone means you walk away from it and you do something. When you expand your comfort zone, I think about things that I was afraid of doing 5 years ago that I now do daily on a
Mhm.
regular basis without even thinking about it.
Mhm.
And so
I
I've
love that.
expanded my comfort zone.
So you're taking the lessons with you. You're taking the resources, the tools, everything that you have gained along the way, and you're taking it with you and you keep expanding that comfort
Yeah,
zone.
yeah,
I love that.
using what I know, absolutely.
Yes. And
So,
I like that you talked about taking one small step at a time. I think that's a big,
mm,
it's so easy to get into overwhelm induced anxiety, especially when building a new business, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. That's the other thing for people who've never had their own business before. This is their first time being an entrepreneur. And that's scary. They don't know how to start. And so, the good thing is they're not doing this all alone. You know, um, they've got resources, they've got a support system, they got a buddy, you know, they don't have to do this all by themselves, and they won't be, and they will be led step by step through the process. So, when you can help them understand that fear is really not valid because they'll be learning it.
And once they immerse themselves in the process of taking a step, being in that moment, present in that particular step that they're taking, and then evaluating, okay, next step, being in that step, it's that being versus doing. I believe that when we're being, it really, the fear does dissipate. So be in the
Absolutely.
moment with the step that you're on, trust the process, take a deep breath, take the steps, trust the process over and over again, right? That's the kind of
Yeah.
mindset you have to have as an entrepreneur. And that's new
Mhm.
for a lot of people.
Yeah. I have an exercise that I do. I think it's in week 8 when we talk about entrepreneurial thinking. And it's inviting them to really I invite them to sit back, their eyes closed, and I say a few phrases like, I am a business owner. I own my own business. And people suddenly think, oh my gosh, I haven't been thinking of myself in that way. And so I invite them to really internalize that, make it into a mantra or an affirmation that they can every day remind themselves, hey, I own my own business. I'm the CEO of my own company. And once you believe that, then the fear dissipates.
So
So,
true.
yeah, I mean, that the 3 steps of transformational change, right? You have to believe differently, you have to feel differently, you have to do differently. And so that's what we're helping them to do in this course, is be able to feel themselves differently, believe in themselves as business owners, as great coaches, and then do differently by putting those beliefs into action.
One step at a time, one breath at a time. I love it. Man, this is so helpful. Thank you for talking with me about your tips and tools and your experience, and it's just been really helpful. I think fear is a topic on a lot of our students' minds, and it's something that they're gonna have to work through with clients all the time. So thank you.
Yeah,
It's been helpful.
absolutely. Yeah, me too. Me too. Thanks, Carrie. I've learned a lot from you too. It's been great.